good money, and the thing I go spoil. You know.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's basically my little take on melanin. It's about being in the sun, living in the sun. You know, of course, you know, I am a person who live based on what I've got and the richness that what I have. You know, all of my natural blessing of being born the way I was born. I gotta keep. First of all, I have to maintain it. You know, I'm not gonna live anymore in places like New York where, you know, in the winter, very little sun. After 3 months in that thing, my skin bleach. My skin bleach. And also it affects my hair, all of that. So to be in the sunshine for me is to really keep your melanin rich. And the melanin also is part of your immune system. It's part of your immune system. So even some people let them say, oh, you know, yeah, you're 40, well, it's now 44 years, you know, it can be fuzz, you know, to 45 years because I'm 73 this year, you know, so I started, you know, at a certain point, but I'm still 72, so I'm still 44 years of all live, all living foods, all sun-fired foods. But, you know, it's interesting, some of the comments that I've heard, you know, some people have looked at me because you see my eyes here, these eyes I have, them something is hazel at one point. Next point, you see me depending on what color I'm wearing. It might be gray, or it might be called like a cat eye, or green eye, or blue eyes. So some people look at me and say, oh, that's it. Oh, your eyes are blue. Oh, that's because you've been eating raw food for so long. You know, did your eyes get light because you've been eating raw food? Because there's this concept among certain people that, you know, if your eyes, the iris of your eyes is dark, it's an indication that you're toxic. And that because I release all these toxins eating all sun-fired foods, all living foods, and the whites of my eyes cleared up, bright, you know, I stop smoking weed, so my eyes are bloodshot no more and all them things. So the whites clear up, so it reflects. Now, you know, the color of my iris reflects the color of the environment, the same way that the sea reflects the color of the sky. You know, you see that beautiful, nice, you know, pastel blue Caribbean sea, look up in the sky and see it's just a mirror. So I said, no, my eyes been like this from birth. The born with an eye color, just like that. My mother have it, my sister have it, my brothers have it, granny have it, you know. It's in our genes. It's part of our DNA. It's not about because I've been eating live food. And I said, but by the way, if what you're saying is true, you know, I have seen enough blue-eyed people with cancer. How come them eyes never get dark? How come them eyes, when they get so toxic that they come down with cancer, how come them eyes never get dark? So let me watch all this foolishness, you know. But melanin is a blessing. To be melanated, it's a blessing, you know. And it's not that I can eat this way because I'm melanated. You know, this way helps me to protect my melanin, okay? Because I see what happens when you eat certain foods, especially processed white foods. One of the books that really turned me on and really inspired me, motivated me in the late 60s, early 70s was a book by the name of From Plant to Planet. Look it up. I think Amazon, you know, them sell everything. Them still even sell that. From Plant to Planet. From a brother at the time, his name was Don L. Lee. He was a poet. But his traditional name, Haki Madhubuti, wrote this book. And the book was about African people, especially in the diaspora, moving from this constant planning and let's get grounded on the planet. And these are some of the things you need to deal with. And one of the main chapters was your food, what you eat. And this is one of the things that really is holding us back, hampering our health, is that we eat too much white processed food, mutants, mutated food, white flour, white sugar, white rice, white salt, you name it. Substance come in color. Substance come in color. So that's why I reach for rich colors constantly. Yes, I would eat some white food, but not processed. I would eat some sour sop, you know, some sweet sop, you know, those kinds of foods, you know, so that are really rich in other elements. You don't see it in the color, but it's in there. A lot of our nutrients are also invisible. Okay, so you know,
What are you gonna make?
Start rolling with what I'm preparing here.
Yeah, I said, what are you gonna make? What are you gonna make now? I want to see. I'm gonna get my watermelon, and I want you to start telling people what you are gonna make.
Well, okay. Let me wait till the brother come back forward here, and what I'm starting off with is actually a sugarless watermelon. So I have a cucumber. I'm running the cucumber through the spiralizer. And mind you, cucumber is a fruit, and it is a melon, but it has no sugar. So it's not typically classified with fruits. So in my spiralizer, I spiralize the cucumber using the ribbon blade, which just gives you just thin slices, but it comes, you know, in a spiral way, like this. Spiral thin slices of cucumber. So I got one cucumber here that we're working with. So here we go with the other half of cucumber. A spiralizer is a good manual piece of equipment, you know, especially, you know, for a lot of our people who did not grow up with kitchen culture. You don't need to necessarily get into all of the big, high-powered appliances. And some people still want to be able to do things as natural as possible, as home style as possible, without using a lot of electricity. So a spiralizer is great for that purpose. So there's other blades, other attachments, and so forth. So this is all we're spiralizing for this particular dish that I'm putting together. So as you take out your watermelon, your melon flavored, you know, red water, I spiralize my sugarless watermelon or cucumber or cucumber. It's a watermelon. It's sugarless. For those of you really thinking about a diet and you want to diet something, do a diet cucumber. You can even just do a cucumber salad. Just spiralize them like this and put some dill in there, season it up, nice fresh spice, fresh herbs, and some spice, and a little olive oil, if you want to go that way, you know, but still, the cucumber, and now the ends of the cucumber, these are the ends of the cucumber, the parts that didn't spiralize. I'm going to put these aside because these things do not go in the trash can. You know, I am about, you know, zero shrinkage as much as possible. So besides the cucumber, we're going to pull up here. I have my spring mix. So the spring mix is ready. This is a mixture of basically microgreens. So we have spinach, arugula, there's kale in here. You know, there's like 6 different greens, but the baby ones, the baby spinach, you know, the baby lettuce. And then there's like 4 different herbs in here as well, cilantro, basil, and so forth. So that's going to be a part of the mix. So really we're working with a salad to begin with. Right here, I have my clover sprouts. Clover, and this you could make yourself. Just get clover seeds and go online you know, but make sure you get the ones that are for sprouting, the organic ones and so forth and so on, and just pull up how do I sprout clover. And you'll find enough information online that will walk you through it step by step. So these rich greens that I'm using are high in moisture. The sprouts, this is just nothing but water. You know, the way it's produced, it just absorbed water and grew, extended its life. So it's high moisture. So breaking this fast, this is my third day now of breaking the fast. I'm still keeping it as light as possible. In terms of other green, we're dealing with the cilantro. So we're using the fresh cilantro. So what I'm going to do is cure my dressing here. So the dressing I'm going to do in the blender. So I'm going to put the cilantro in here. So this is 8 sprigs of cilantro. And besides the cilantro, this is how we work here so we don't throw value away. I'm using the ends of the cucumber that I spiralized. So that's going in the dressing. That's water. So rather than grabbing some spring water and putting in my dressing, because my dressing needs some water, some moisture, I'm using the cucumber to take care of that for me. And tomato. Tomato is a fruit. And look at this tomato. It's no ordinary tomato, you see. It's a heirloom tomato. It's an original. It's not, you know, a hybrid. It hasn't been, you know, constantly manipulated by humans. So I'm going to remove the stem part of the tomato. Get rid of that little part there. Not much. Don't dig out the whole tomato to get rid of that. And I'm going to slice it in half. Okay. And what I'm going to do with the tomato, because what I'm doing is just using 1/2 of the tomato. I'm taking out the heart of the tomato, the part with the seed of the tomato. And that is actually going into my dressing. So it's a de-seeded tomato, but the seeds, the pulp, the heart of the tomato is going into my dressing because it is high in moisture. It's high in moisture. So here, more water for my dressing without having to resort to some processed water into my dressing. So here we go. Right here, the heart of 1/2 of a tomato. The rest of the tomato, I'm going to just cut it in strips. Because ultimately, what I'm doing, I get so elaborate sometimes, even just fixing food for myself. I am just not, a simple eater. Pretty much every time I touch food, I just take it to the gourmet level, So the question, what am I making today? Treating myself to a wrap. Treating myself to a wrap, and I'm using the nori sheet, seaweed, high in trace minerals, iodine. I'm using the nori sheet, but I'm going to fuse the nori sheet with something interesting right here. Sit up there. Chaka. Sit up. All right. This is a plantain wrap. Not just any wrap, no commercial wrap. This may I make it right here. So I'm going to put the nori seaweed with the wrap. So it's going to be a double wrap. So we're going to, actually, before I cue that up, let me do this. Because I'm going to use the nori roller. I'm going to use the nori bamboo roller. So I put that on my plate. And I'm going to put I'm going to put the seaweed first. Yeah, I'm putting the nori, and I'm going to put the plantain wrap. So the plantain, ripe plantain, just put them in the blender, blend it, spread it on the dehydrator tray, dehydrate it for 12 hours at 117 degrees, and you're good. So see it there. So the nori lined with the plantain wrap right inside there. So whatever I'm making here is going to be layered in the nori wrap. Nori plantain wrap. I'm going to roll it up, slice it, and just go to life. Just go to life. So far, We have the spring mix, we have the clover, we have the tomato, we have the cucumber, and you know, we have to put some avocado in there.
So
So
what?
we
The
have
people
this.
are
Yeah,
gonna be able to Ghana and get this food when you come to Ghana, because I want you to come so you can feed people.
oh, true, man. You know, well, Ghana is my home. You know, last time I was there, I was at Valley View University in Ghana. You
Okay.
know, I did a certification course at Valley View University. You know, right outside of Accra. And Valley View, it's interesting. Check this out. Valley View is an Adventist university in Ghana, in Africa.
Wow.
You know, and the brother, you know, the brothers and sisters there, you know, the chancellor and the maitre d' in the restaurant and everything, you know, working with my sister over there, Dr. Sharita Yazid, you know, they brought me in to do the certification course for the community and for those in the university as well who were interested. So even the cafeteria, the maitre d' there really was, you know, she took the class. I certified her because they are like, you know, look, you know, as vegetarians, we're looking for a different horizon. Or we want to expand our horizon, basically. So, you know, so they want to get up to date with live food, with sun-fired foods, you know, because, you know, the legacy that has been taken to Africa of vegetarianism through these organizations is that vegetarian food is,
It's colonized.
yeah, it's chunks, mince, it's texturized vegetable protein, fake